I've been through it all in terms of trading. I did every mistake in the book and had to learn the hard way. Alpha male or female wouldn't get into something if they don't know that, you know what, I have some confidence that I'm going to achieve something here. So a lot of people are actually successful when they come into the trading world, but the problem is they don't assess their performance. I think I got off social media for a good 7 months to
Okay.
just cleanse, to not look at anybody's charts and look at him. Nobody's losing online. It's crazy. Like there's nobody losing online. I want to be maxed with Bespoke, and I don't say this lightly because this is coming from someone who crawled himself out of Drawdown for 2 months. You put your goal out there and you look at it every day and you follow it, you're gonna get it.
So, welcome to the Bespoke funding program funded trader interview. Do you want to just give a quick introduction into who you are, where you're from, and how you got into trading?
So my name is Aus. I've actually gotten into trading, I would say July 2020, where everybody got in, I guess. I'm currently residing in Canada at the moment. I used to live in Dubai most of my life. That's where I got into trading actually. So I've been through it all in terms of trading. I did every mistake in the book and had to learn the hard way. I didn't have anyone to teach me, so I just did a lot of online stuff, um, online programs and podcasts and movies and shows about trading. I really, I dive deep in it. So yeah, I just had to do it all by myself, to be honest with you. And along the way, I picked up the pieces and figure out what kind of person and what kind of trader I am, and put together a strategy that suits me. And I think it's working. It's been working. And the problem is with strategies is you're the weak link. So I'm always developing myself, always checking on myself, at the end of the day to see if am I following the plan or why not. So I guess so it got me back to full circle, and back to me again, so yeah.
That's great. There's a few things in there that I'm going to ask about. So, first of all, living in Dubai most of your life, that I can imagine was an experience in itself. What was that like? When did you move there?
I moved there in 2001 and I stayed there up until about 2 years ago, and that's when I moved back to Canada. So I still have family out there. Yeah, Dubai, it makes you very industrious. It makes you think very big because everyone's driving the best cars and everybody's eating the best food, I guess. Everybody's attracted to Dubai. So when you're there, you're always looking out to, the next best thing. What are you going to do? Because, you can't just hold job down and expect that it's going to pay all your bills or, live that kind of lifestyle. So I did a few things actually in Dubai before even trading. I was in the food and beverage business, which I started there, yeah. And I worked in finance there too. But Dubai was great. We're going back. Me and the family, me and the wife and baby. We're gonna go back. I would say our plan is 2025.
Yeah.
We're heading back to Dubai. I think it's a beautiful place, honestly. If you haven't been, you should. It's a great
No, I
place.
haven't been yet.
Yeah. Well, I think it's Trader's Hub now, other than
Literally.
Miami, right? So I think it's beautiful. There's everything. There's literally everything. So it's been great there.
Yeah, that's amazing. So living there since 2001, you obviously got to see like the creation of Dubai to like what it is today.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So a lot of the things in 2001 weren't there now.
Mm.
Even Burj Khalifa it was called Burj Dubai when we were there. So that
Okay.
changed. There's a lot of things. Dubai's very fast. They're very, very fast. They want to be the best at everything. Um, and they move really, really quickly. So
Mm.
you have to really adapt to yourself, and they're not going to wait for anyone. So if you can't afford to live there or something, you just have to move on. You just have to leave. But yeah, it's I'm sure if I go back now, there's going to be so many new changes too. So it's kind of I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, that's crazy. It does just seem like Dubai is just constantly evolving and just trying to do better than every other country. But
Sure.
it's amazing. It's like it is like an inspirational country, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's gonna burn your pocket, but yeah, definitely inspiration.
So where did you come from originally before you moved
I'm
to
originally from Iraq, so I was born in
Okay.
Iraq. Yeah, I left Iraq when I was a baby. We moved to Canada,
Mhm.
and like I said, so from Canada we
That
shifted
makes
on.
sense. So why you're back there now. Yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah, so I studied in England, in
Okay.
Scotland actually. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
and so I was, moved around a lot, I guess. But originally I'm from Iraq.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you're well traveled.
I am, yeah. I've been traveling since I've been traveling for a long time, to be honest. I guess it's because I did my studies in Dubai for a bit, and then I did my master's outside. But because I did it there, I just wanted to, I just wanted to leave, to go
Mhm.
see the world a little bit. And everybody's traveling there, so I guess that inspired me to leave. And yeah, I've been to a few countries, more to come, hopefully.
I love that. I love that. And again, that's the kind of freedom that trading gives you. You can just go to wherever you want to go to and still be able to
That's
make
true.
money.
That's true. Except, you're always on your phone, right? You're always looking at the charts. So it kind of makes you live outside, but then still keeps you in. So that's the fight that all the, successful traders are having actually. Is how do you stay away from the charts? Because the more you stay away from the charts and let the trade play out or whatever, you want to call it, it works in your favor.
Mhm.
So it's not easy. It's not easy, but we try.
Mhm. Absolutely. And we will definitely get into all of
Yeah,
that because it is
for
so
sure.
important. But I
Yeah.
want to go back to what you said in your introduction of you said something along the lines of basically trading is a constant journey of like figuring out who you are basically as a trader and what kind of strategy you have. Do you feel like trading has had like a big role in kind of creating the person that you are today? Like if you didn't have trading, do you think you would still be the same person that you are today?
Absolutely not. I think trading made me so much more patient. Um, you really have to be humble because the minute you start thinking that you understand what's going to happen in the market, you're going to get beat. And so definitely it took a you have to submit and kind of just accept that you're not, you can't really do anything in this environment. You're only reacting. Um, so I think it did shape a lot of that into my family life. It made me more patient with my son, with my wife, I would say. So it got, and at the same time, I'm never bored. When you're a trader, you're never bored. You're always, it's so weird. You're looking at a candle, nobody can understand it, but you're having fun, as you're looking at it go up and down. And I guess but again, it has its limits, right? Like you really need to, okay, accept that you've taken what you want to out of it, learned what you need to learn or whatever, and then just go back to life because that's what's important. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, sorry, it's yes, I have. I definitely it's created, house new personality, where everything in life that you do, you have to really assess the risk. Like you have to look forward, think at least two steps forward. So it gave me that perspective for sure.
Mhm. I really like that answer, and I think it is absolutely true. I think with trading, it can heighten the good traits that you have and help you work on certain things. But then, if you don't if you have a trait that you're not quite fond of, trading will definitely bring that out and make you realize it for what it is. Maybe it's something really deep down that you don't quite know you have. And then when you start trading and you start forming these different habits and you pick up on something that you're like, oh, wait, I didn't even know that about myself. But
Yeah,
now you can see it reflecting throughout your life, but you've discovered it through trading.
that's true. That's true. Actually, you know what? You bring a very important point. Most of the traders, most of the people that come into this industry is they're actually successful. They're not like because usually this attracts like alpha males, like I said, alpha males, alpha females, even
Absolutely.
people who want to do things. So when an alpha male or female wouldn't get into something if they don't know that, I have some confidence that I'm going to achieve something here. So a lot of people are actually successful when they come into the trading world. But the problem is they don't assess their performance. They don't go back and see, like you said, like what changed in your behavior yesterday or the day before. And I think, like you said, it's constant development. So because you're always constantly developing and getting better and better, you need to keep track of what happened. Like, did you hurt your knee, 3 years ago, for example? Did you remove your stop loss? Or stuff like that. I think you need to keep track of it. And this is basically the weak link, I think, right now with all the traders.
Absolutely. And I think also a lot of people that come into trading are really successful, but then we also have a lot of people that try to get into trading and they just can't get past that hurdle of having to self-reflect and having to do the work in order to make those changes. So I think that really heightens again the fact that it is like alpha males and alpha females that do come into this industry because we want it so bad. We are forced to work on those things. So then it becomes this thing where if you're not willing to do it, then you just can't do it.
Yeah. If you're just gonna make the same mistake again, and then you're gonna hurt yourself and say, oh, I'm not gonna do that again. And then it happens maybe a month down the line because your body is your mind, they're adapting, right? They don't want you to feel pain anymore. So they make you forget. And then you come back and you stumble again. Like, oh my goodness, So yeah, you're absolutely right. And a lot of, I think, to add to what you said is we don't want to look at ourselves and see our mistakes, we really don't. It's, you feel naked kind of, and like, oh, I did that. Not really, you'll feel like you're criticizing yourself, but I think you need to. It's a big part of trading.
Absolutely. And again, I think that is a struggle. Again, like we said at the beginning, it's the struggle for traders because we're so, I hate to say it, but so ego driven in the beginning at least, and we're so alpha, it's hard for us to accept those things. But obviously we have to push through and become successful. So it is such a battle. It is a constant battle of working through that.
Absolutely, especially the ones who are on social, who heard about this on social media, because they're gonna go back to social media and see, what's going on. Like it took me, I think I got off social media for a good 7 months to just cleanse, to not look at anybody's charts and look at any. Nobody's losing online. It's crazy. Like there's nobody losing online, and we get to see it. So I think, yeah, I mean, you really need to be careful as a trader. You need to be careful what you're actually watching and what you're looking at. It's very, like I said, this job is the hardest job in the world. It really is. It's not even said by me. It's said by professionals who are way beyond me, and that it's the most difficult thing you can do in the world. So, I stand with that.
Absolutely. It's only for the brave.
Yeah, oh yeah. Or those who can persevere. I think those people who stay in the game, yeah. If you can stay in the game and not hurt yourself to the point where you give up, you'll make it, because that's basically it. You just have to respect the time that that the market gives you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's an important point as well for people who might be watching that are quite new to trading. It's important for you to be really careful about what you're looking at, what you're watching online, because I came into this when it was very much heavily lifestyle and it was just the Lambos, Miami. It was that whole vibe. And as much that is still very prevalent now, but I think you also have the side of that is a lot more professional these days. So for example, I came off Instagram last year because I just couldn't take seeing the constant lifestyle marketing rubbish. I couldn't take it. But then I moved to Twitter, or X now, and it was a completely different world. Like people that were coming onto Twitter with the Lambos and all of that kind of thing were getting shut down, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing, like actual traders.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's crazy the difference between Instagram being like so lifestyle-y and then Twitter being more professional. As much as you will get the scammers still on Twitter, but if anyone at home is wondering, if you want to go for the actual knowledge and the real content of the trading world, Twitter over Instagram, like any day.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think Instagram is definitely just for show. It's,
Absolutely.
it started out as pictures, right? We're all taking pictures on. So, but no, Twitter, there's a lot of professionals on Twitter, lots of professional traders, professional hedge fund traders. Like most of the people I follow on Twitter now, my personal, are authors like trading that have been in the game for like old school people who have been in the game for a long time. So again, I don't follow them because I'm looking at their charts or something. I just to see what their sentiment is, for example, or what their did they all write a new book or something. But it
Yeah.
wouldn't be, they don't even share charts. It's
They
not,
don't need to.
they're past it. Yeah, they're past it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a crazy world to try and navigate, especially for beginners.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I think the only thing you can do as a beginner is just keep going. Like
Yeah.
you just have to go through it. You have to go through it all and make all the mistakes and just make sure they're your mistakes and you don't take somebody else's mistakes and make them yours because you just won't learn from that. And
Mhm.
that goes into like slash signals, all that stuff. It's all
Yeah.
useless.
All that fun stuff.
Yeah, it's such a great idea, like having a signal group that works, but it just can't because this game it's a mental game. It has nothing to
Absolutely.
do with numbers. Like you could just be, like you said, traveling the world and you're just, hey, this guy has a good win rate. I'm just gonna size up today, and
Yeah.
then you lose way more than anticipated,
Yeah.
or the market gap, which happened last week.
Yeah.
Market gap, you know, people lost a lot of money. So people need to go back to the basics. I think the basics of what you need to survive in this game, and they're very simple actually. Just you need to be humble. You need to be being in control of your emotions. You
Yeah.
need to have a data set to come back to. Things that you're filling in, just like a boss. Like you're your own boss. Would
Literally.
you hire you as a trader? I think that's the most important question.
I really like that actually. Would you hire you as a trader? I feel like that needs to be on the front of everyone's journal.
Big time. Yeah. And you know what? I don't like having a prop firm and getting these people now who like I have to say it, to be honest. It ruins it for other traders, those who come in and they go through challenges like it's like they're buying Coca-Cola. They buy
Literally.
a challenge, they leverage, they finish the challenge in a day, and they just it doesn't make sense. It's like that's not what you have to treat this as a business, and you have to respect the prop firm as a business because like it just, they want to keep you, right? They want to keep you as a
Yeah.
trader. They want to work with you. So, I mean, yeah, it's a lot. I don't want to get into that here, but yeah, it's a lot.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think this is what people misunderstand when it comes to prop firms or funding firms. Like they want us to win. They want to be able to have us as traders for them. They're not here just to get a load of money from failed challenges and then
Yeah.
just pay out from the challenge fees. Like it doesn't, when you actually sit down and think about it, it doesn't make sense from a business perspective. The way that people say that funding firms make money and why we ban cheaters and stuff like this, like it doesn't make logical sense. Prop
Makes sense.
firms they need us. There is
Because the
no
prop
prop
firm
firm
is
without the
competing with another
traders.
prop firm. Sorry to
Yeah,
cut you. I'm saying that the prop firm is actually competing with another prop firm that has really good traders. So they want to board traders. And again, I think most of the people that are saying these things, they really don't understand. They've never started a business in their life. They have never actually been into a prop firm. They don't know anything about a prop firm. And so they go on Twitter or X and then they hear someone saying that. They go, yeah, you know what? That sounds right. They banned my account. And I only took a signal. I moved the stop loss though. It wasn't the same stop loss. You know how they try
yeah,
to,
yeah.
yeah, they try everything, right? It's just, you're going to get
Everything.
caught. You're just going to it's just not going to work. But I mean, they just don't treat it as a business. And I think it's disrespectful to themselves first. Like how can you make something out of this? And if it's not legit, and then they go into a prop firm and they ruin it for everybody else. And there's a lot of prop firms that are upcoming. And again, this is the new era, right? For prop firms, for this digital
Yeah,
space for people to trade. But again, you have to, I think it has to be done, right? We have to filter out all these people like they did in the 90s and the 2000s, where, a lot of people were trying to cheat brokers. And people don't know that. People don't even know how that's possible.
yeah.
And they want to come in here, they think it's easy money, but oh, they're gonna get, oh, they're gonna see it. They'll
It
see.
is, it is, and it's like this like superiority complex that people have at the moment. Like everyone thinks that they're the greatest, and
Yeah,
it's just like that's not what trading is about.
I know.
Like trading is to just give you freedom to just do what you want when you want, work on your own terms. Like stop trying to one up everyone. Stop
Yeah,
trying to tarnish the prop firms that are providing you with this opportunity.
I
Like
know.
it
I
just
know.
doesn't make sense.
Oh my goodness. I think it's because they follow a lot of gurus or mentors that speak in the same language.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the most famous one, I don't want to mention his name, but he speaks in a very vulgar manner. And again, of course, you're going to have he has 1 million subscribers. They're going to follow what he says.
Yeah.
So, you know, you need to be picky. You need to be really picky about people and who you listen to, because at the end of the day, you can listen to them, but you always have to make your own decision. You always have to make
Mhm.
your own like calculated decision in this market.
Mhm.
And that's the beauty of it. I think that's why I was so attracted to it. And again, I'm always more passionate. I get more passionate about this industry because you learn so much, from all these giants that have been here for like there was a book written on trading in 1886.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a Spanish guy that wrote about it, and he writes about like the even technicals like support and resistance back then. Crazy, right? So if you do your homework and go back and see all these people that have actually done something in trading and have gone, you'll you'll start to make sense of it, and it'll again, it's a constant journey of learning. That's all I can say.
It is absolutely. Reflecting back on your trading career, do you have like a pivotal moment or experience that significantly shaped your approach to how you trade?
Yeah, very good question. I always ask myself this, actually, to be honest, like what happened? Like I was not really successful, and then now I'm, beginning to walk that journey. And it all goes back to risk management. And again, when you come into this space, you're not a trader. And if you tell yourself you're a trader, you could just buy and sell phones and you're a trader. But you're a risk manager. That's what you are. And if you come in here and you say, I'm going to give you 50,000, I'm going to give you $100,000, how are you going to manage that? And so you have to tell yourself, I'm a risk manager first, and then you start, navigating these waters, this whole space, I guess. But basically, you always hear, right? Like you hear risk management, risk 1%, risk 0.5%, but 0.5% on 100,000, like it's gonna hurt your pocket to lose that kind of money realistically. So I think people don't they have the understanding of risk management, but it's not tailored to them. It's not personal. So once I made that personal, and I realized that if you manage your risk, you will always make money. I heard, and I'm just like, someone told me that. I'm just like, what do you mean? If I manage risk, I always make money. And then I just brushed it off. And then, fast forward 3 years, like the only reason I became who I am now and trading the way I do is I just manage my risk. So that's it. Like if you're not capable of losing $300 today, forget the account size. If you can't lose $300 today, do not put it at risk. Just don't put it at risk. And you don't need a lot of pips to make money in this market. You don't even need to be right, right? I mean, that's what the author said in that book. So again, risk management is it's one of the foundations that all traders need to build their system on. And again, systems change, but this is the only thing you can control. Actually, it's like when you go into the jungle, you have to be prepared, right, to get all your stuff in order. So I think risk management definitely was a huge factor to my success.
Mhm. I really like that, and I really like what you said about managing your risk, like basically to what's personal to you. So if you're risking 0.5% on a 100K account, that's still $500. How much is that going to hurt you? Because when you say risking 0.5%, it doesn't sound like that much. Like it's not that detrimental. But then when you think about it, is it's $500, and think about it in realistic terms of you have that $500, but if you place this trade, you could lose that $500 that's going to have a very different effect emotionally to just that 0.5%. That's actually something that I've never looked at in that way either. So I think that is a really important point that I just wanted to highlight.
For sure. And I think it's also variable, because sometimes you're not in your optimum state. You know, you come in the market is very volatile. You can't even risk that kind of money. You can't risk a percent, you know. And I say this, but you know, sometimes it happens, right? Everybody makes mistakes. And again, we go back to what I said is you make a mistake, you put it down on paper, and you go back and reevaluate at the end and figure out figure out what to do to move forward. But yeah, absolutely. I think it's you sit down with yourself and say, okay, can I lose $150 today and be okay, and just move around? And if you can, then go ahead and you can place 5 trades as long as they're under the umbrella of $150.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that point. Is there anything that you still find like challenging about trading?
Yeah, I think from my stats, I can see that after a losing trade, there's a very high chance that I'm going to lose again. So
Okay.
yeah, you get to see these metrics for yourself, like, and so then I realized that now that one of the hardest things to do is after taking a loss, I have to come back to my, I don't know what they call it, to basics, or to your normal self, and that takes there's exercises to do that, breathing exercises in the moment, looking at yourself in the mirror and breathing. It might sound crazy, but these are ways where you can look at yourself and say, this is a market and I'm still alive. Because that's, you may not see that, but as you see yourself breathing and you're taking it in, and there's nothing really happened, you just lost. And I guess to answer that in short is taking a loss and not having to do anything after is very difficult. And I think this is one of the challenges that I'm tackling right now. A project, I would say, a project that I'm tackling at the moment. But yeah, that's mine.
What would you say to someone who came to you, who was looking for some advice, who was facing that exact challenge?
If he's doing that, I would tell him to find a what is it called? The buddy system, where you have someone who's let's say he's a trader like you, or he can not
Okay.
even be, he doesn't have to be a trader. When you go through this, immediately pick up the phone, give him a call.
Yeah.
Hey man, took a loss right now, and it works. These people have successful prop firms have these groups because it works.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll tell him to find a buddy, and if he can't, um, I would tell him to take at least 10 deep breaths before placing the next trade, or put him under a time frame. And again, time frame means like you cannot take a trade for the next 15. Like, for example, if he trades the 1 minute, then the conversation is very hard, because I can't tell him not to trade a 1 minute chart. But then if he trades the hourly, then don't trade until the next hourly closes. So again, we say this, but if we find like 5 traders that can do that, we're like, we found a miracle. But at the same time, it's also tailored to somebody specifically. Like, you could be very different than me. You could manage your emotions a lot more. And women are much better traders anyways, because they manage their emotions in these markets. And men have this ego, right? You lose, like, the market took that from you, I need to get it back right now. And you think you have a power, but you really don't. The minute you place a trade, you've given all the power away. And it's very hard to understand that, because we're made in, we're created on earth, and you believe that you have, of course we have, but I mean, like, we live to make decisions that impact your day to day. But in trading, that doesn't work. So deep breathing or a buddy system, I think.
I think those are both really good answers to give to someone who is struggling. I think even the deep breathing, that in itself is like, I think people should do that anyway.
Yeah.
After any trade, whether it is a win or a lose, I think just breathing through it and not really not feeling the emotion of it, but not feeling the emotion of it, but just getting back to yourself, like, okay, I just want to trade, but just remember who you are.
Yeah,
Just take a deep
absolutely.
breath.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's a great answer. And also the point of women being better traders, I hear this point quite a lot, and I can't say if I agree or disagree. I don't think there are enough women in the industry to really make a fair comparison. But what I will say is, and this is through discussions that I've had with other female traders as well, females in this industry, to have the kind of the perseverance and the grit, and let's be real, the balls to be in this type of industry, we are very alpha and are very ego driven. So comparing us to a man isn't really that far off. But like comparing female traders to, I don't know, other females who might just be happy going to work, it's
Mhm.
completely different.
Oh, I bet. I bet. I bet. It's even the way that I think female traders carry themselves is very different. The way they carry a conversation is going to be different. The way they manage their life is different. Absolutely. But I think there's a great book called The Alpha Trader
Mm.
by Brent Donnelly, and he has I think he has a statistic on female traders and how, if I remember correctly, basically on the average of how well they do in comparison to males. So it's
Okay.
very interesting. Yeah, yeah, it's very, very interesting. So he's a great hedge fund. I think he's trading it on his own now. He's from Ottawa as well, where I am in
Okay.
Canada. Yeah, yeah, and he's again, like I said, most of my learning, most of what I've done is through people who have, who have credibility. I would say there are some that I used to listen to that, are just online people. Sometimes I listen to them, but yeah, but yeah, I think females, to go back to the point, I think females are great traders, and because they manage their emotions very well, I think they're not as rash, when they make a decision. I think they calculate it. Um, I mean, yeah, um, Cleopatra took down who was he? So slowly, right, meticulously, and yeah, I think they just they have hidden power,
Mm.
and I think it's great to see female traders. Honestly, it's
Mm.
fantastic.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. Right, getting on to your trading now. Are you okay to show us your charts and show us maybe a setup?
So basically, I mean, honestly, I would, but the idea is I'm a discretionary trader. So
Okay.
mainly what I would do is I would come in at the beginning of the week, I would look at the weekly candle and just make an assumption. Now I know, because I have my own personal beliefs of the market, and I try as best as possible to get this message across to anyone who's listening, anyone who's actually following me and stuff, is that you must have an opinion on the trade, on the market. And when I say that, I mean, I don't just mean where the candle's going to go. You need to understand, is it an efficient market or an inefficient market? Do you believe that, I mean, if you're trading, for example, US 30, it's a trend that's trending. It's mainly moves on a trend. Forex is not it's not a trending asset,
Yeah.
or, it's mainly like a wave, a huge wave on the monthly. So for me, I, I come to the market and I don't have an opinion at all. Like it could go either way. But do I look at the weekly candle and just assume where it might go for the week? And then that's it. So that's the first step. When I come into the section, and then I have my own parameters on, let's say, simply if there's a market break, I know in Forex that once there's a market break, if there's no why, if there's no news behind that, we're gonna pull back.
Mhm.
So all I need to see is where did we break on a structure. When again, I trade the 15 and the 1 hour. So mainly my time frames don't go above that. So it's the 15 and my hour is basically the bigger perspective. And so I look for market breaks. I look for a retest, but not really a retest. It's more, where's everybody putting their stops? And if I can get as close to that as possible and not put a sell order, because most of them are going to flip their bias once their stops, or when the stops are hit. So I try to do it there. And again, you're not always going to get it. But there's a good chance that if you think in those terms away from everybody that's losing, because we know there's a lot of losers. So to think as a winner, you need to think completely opposite. Why are they losing? Where's their stops? Put your entry at their stops. Sounds crazy, but it works. But to kind of put in a chart, honestly, I don't think it's fair, because I used to get very annoyed at people explaining the chart to me in hindsight. Like, it's already printed. Don't tell me that I should have taken a sell here. You would have taken a sell there if you knew, right? So I just believe that the market is going to do what it's going to do, and you just need to have grit, and you need to have, let's say, like, no, well, I wouldn't say grit, but you need to have the confidence to place yourself at risk in that specific trade, because like I say all the time, when you get stopped out, somebody made money. So somebody has a system that had already made money in that trade. So there is no one way to trade. There is no one way to trade. But the idea is to sit with someone and understand how they look at the charts, and then compile that data for them and filter it where the other person, like, oh man, I should have done this and I should have done that. And it makes more sense. But I look at the weekly at the beginning of the week, and then throughout the sessions it may change. So again, I won't look at that bias. All I know is that the weekly candle is going to go down, for example. It doesn't mean I'm going to take a sell. It just means that I'm looking for specific things, and and those things are break of structure, and then where the stop losses are, because somebody took a buy at those break of structure. And I look for, very clean levels for people to put their stops on the 15-minute, and I try to place an entry there, as close as possible. I
Okay.
hope that makes sense. And again, I'm speaking with no chart, but I just believe that's that's how I trade.
Yeah, you know what? I really appreciate that type of answer. So, discretionary trading is something that I've only recently picked up on exactly what it is and what it means. I've always just known it's technical analysis, fundamental analysis. I first heard discretionary trading, and it was actually two of our partners with Bespoke. It was Kieran and Brad. They were talking about it on a Spaces, and I was listening, and I thought, this sounds very similar to how I trade.
Mhm.
But I didn't know that that's what I was doing. So I have like my strategy, which is it's just support and resistance and Fibonacci.
Yeah.
But then there's also other elements to it that are at discretion. And I never knew how to explain it until I listened to that Spaces, and I was like, hold on, that is so similar to what I do.
Yeah. And honestly, I think a lot of people are discretionary traders, but they just don't know. They just don't have data on
Absolutely.
themselves. They just
Yeah.
don't know. And I wish I had someone come in like in the beginning, but it's very hard. I mean, it's very hard to find someone who's a good trader that's going to teach you for free. It's very hard. And if they're teaching you for free, question it, like, why are they doing it for free? And but yeah, discretionary trading, I think, is very common amongst people, because they put a lot of emotion into trading. They go, oh, I feel like this candle is going to flip. And then right at that minute, you're not a systematic trader anymore. You
Yeah.
put feelings in there. So there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong as
We're
long as you manage your
human, we're
risk.
supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And if you manage your risk, and if people can give respect to some indicators, because a lot of people now are saying, oh, naked charts, naked charts, and that's all I hear. But there are some things that make sense, like the ATR, the average true range. If you that if your stop loss is within the ATR, you can get spiked,
Yeah.
and you can. And basically, these are indicators for professionals, right? Bollinger Bands. People don't respect the Bollinger Band, but it's a support and a resistance indicator. So, I mean, again, people, I think, need to look at trading very personalized. They need to rip off all the marketing that's been stamped on them on what trading is, and have a personal approach, because that's the only way you're going to succeed. That's the only way I've seen it. I mean, again, I'm coming from someone that did everything. I did the signals. I did the watch people on YouTube live trading, because that's gonna make me trade like them. It just won't work. You won't feel it, you know? It's like giving someone money in the street and say, hey man, can you invest this for me? Like, just some guy. That's basically what
Yeah.
people are doing. It's yeah, sorry.
No, we love it. I think yeah, you're completely right. And again, going back to the like the whole indicator thing, I used to be that person. Like I came into this industry where it was like naked charts, everything should be clean, and I was always like, I'm never using indicators. I don't want indicators. Like my charts are
Yeah.
clean. I'm the best trader. Like I'm amazing. And again, that's only been something recently that I'm seeing. Like one of my students, for example, he started picking up on Bollinger Bands,
Mhm.
and I was like, I've never looked at this. Like I don't really care to. And then he also showed me Elliott Wave, and
Yeah.
then he showed me that, and I was like, hold on a minute, like
Mhm.
these make
There's
sense.
lots.
And his win
There's
rate
lots of complex
really good.
ways. There's lots of. No, I completely understand, and it makes sense. Again, people will think the way they think, right? And you could have a naked approach, a naked chart approach, and that's completely fine. But all I can say is manage your risk,
Yeah.
because that's all you need to do. If you can manage your risk, you can trade however you want. You know, it really doesn't matter. Nobody's going to ask you. No prop firm is going to ask you how you trade. As long as you're consistent, and you're doing well, and you're not copying somebody else,
Just do
right?
that.
Just do that. It seems so easy on paper.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, seems so easy on paper.
Yeah, people to execute that isn't the
Yeah.
greatest always.
And again, honestly, I think just to add to the last bit for the indicators, like for example, the Bollinger Band is made by a guy who has CFA. So obviously the guy is credible. He's measuring risk on volatility. You have to go back and see who made the stochastics, who made the MACD, what are they, what were they, are they still relevant? And again, you don't have to make a trade on them. You can just see what it's telling you, and that's it. That's all I would say about indicators.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think again, indicators are very discretionary. If you want to
100%,
use them. If you don't, don't. Don't put
100%.
someone else down if they don't put someone else down if they do. It's really easy.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. So coming to the end of the interview now, what is your experience with Bespoke? What are your thoughts on Bespoke overall?
So honestly, I fell in love with Bespoke. I still remember it was May of this year. May of this year. I was abroad at that time. And it was May. Yeah, it was May this year. Okay, good. Just it wasn't last year. It was May of this year. I remember because Bespoke came out with it was the first no time limit.
Yeah.
I remember. And like in my mind, that was the only issue I was facing is it's not realistic. Like, why do you want me to get 8% in 1 month? I can't. It's just gonna make me over leverage. It's gonna make me size up. And so when Bespoke came out with that, I immediately fell in love with them. I signed up, and I've honestly been with Bespoke since then. I've not been with any other company. Um, I've been with other companies before. So with a company that was, again, we're not going to mention names, but they went under and they're coming back again. Um, but yeah, so I was with them, also funded, and now coming into Bespoke. And again, Bespoke, because it really takes a different trader, like, to have no time limit. You go, oh wow, like I can risk $30 per day. You say that, but then time goes by and you start itching for that. So Bespoke funding has been great since then. Honestly, their spread is the best so far that I've traded. I've traded with I think six other their trials for funding. And I have funded traders that I talk to, and I always measure the spread. So the spread is good. Slippage, I haven't faced any slippage. The market gapped last week, but it gapped for every broker. And again, I was trading the Kiwi, so it makes sense that it would gap. It was F1C as well. But
That was smart.
yeah, the thing is, I mean, that's a different topic, but like having to, if you're, yeah, I know, it was a mistake for sure. I should have closed it before the news came out. But again, I'm measuring my metrics, so I'm trying to tolerate how much actually can you hold your trade, to TP, or are you going to remove partials? So I think it was a judgment call that made me pay. But Bespoke has been great so far. I can't deny it. I know that Bespoke is going through some things at the moment, and we're gonna come out of it. Bespoke has been here since the beginning, and I believe they've been super smooth so far. You have access to the CEO, the CFO. You can talk to them anytime. But everything's been great with Bespoke.
Amazing. That is what we love to hear. So the final question is a question from our previous guest. So your question is from our last funded trader interview guest, which was Gabriel. And his question is, what is your goal for the next year?
Good question.
It's actually great timing as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good question. So I have my goal up on a card right there every day that I look at. So I have a monetary goal for my live accounts with Bespoke. And numbers don't really matter, to be honest. But my main goal, I would say, is I want to be maxed with Bespoke. And I don't say this lightly, because this is coming from someone who crawled himself out of Drawdown for 2 months to get back. Yeah. And I tried to chase the the scaling plan as well throughout my tenure. So again, I believe I'm a firm believer, if you put your goal out there and you look at it every day and you follow it, you're gonna get it. So I really want to be and again, I don't want to say I really want to be, I will be max funded. I don't have a time frame on it. I don't have a 1 year, it's not a 1 year goal, because in literally, like, I didn't expect to be in this position 6 months ago, 7 months ago. So who knows? But I'd like to be maxed with Bespoke, and I'd like to be working with Bespoke long term. And I believe building a relationship with one prop firm, a firm relationship where they can have your data, they have your statistics, at least it makes sense, to stay long term. So that's my answer to Gabriel.
That's amazing. I love that answer, and that's probably the most professional trading answer that you could give for the position that you're in right now. So I think that is amazing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I love that. So what is your question for the next guest? So thank you so much for letting me have this chat with you today and getting to know you a little bit better, your insights into the market, how you trade. I've really, really enjoyed this conversation, and I feel like we need to do another one of these in a year's time to find out.
I count on it. I'm waiting for that. This is my next, that's my next goal, is to stay consistent. Yeah. I believe that it's gonna happen. It's gonna take it's gonna take some time. There's a lot of more successful traders that are upcoming with Bespoke that you're probably gonna speak to. So we're excited. We're excited to see who's coming up next. Amazing. Well, again, thank you so much and good luck. And I'm sure we'll speak again really soon. Thank you very much for having me. You're welcome.